Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Groove podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back with something totally new today. We said that we were talking offline and sometimes like behind the scenes about
Mhm,
possibly, creating a segment where we just cover like the news, like in just Hollywood and everything else like that. So
mhm,
this is the first episode. The title of this like playlist is going to be called Behind the News. You get it, Behind the News. And
mhm,
today we're going to talk about something that's just going crazy. It's like it's shaking up like a specific industry, the entertainment industry. We are talking about AI in Hollywood, not AI and Hollywood, AI
mhm.
in
It's
Hollywood because
in
it's
in
it's in.
Hollywood.
It's in, AI is
Yeah.
changing the game. I mean, this is it's literally a game changer, and I think, a
Mhm,
lot of people who are in this industry really don't know what to think about it. Like I hear about these virtual like casting calls and things like that. So
mhm.
it's shaking up the culture. So we're gonna talk about it. Do you have anything you want to add to this before we get into it, man?
Well, I mean, like it's kind of a game changer because of the speed and how much power is available to people now.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
I was watching some old movies from like the 80s and 70s. And, when Star Wars came out, that completely upended the film industry
Yeah.
because they never had an in-house studio to make special effects, especially stuff in space and that kind of things. That it was expensive and digital difficult to do. And so that changed the game. So they had studios or had in-house people that can make special effects, and stuff just got better and better and better over time. And then AI shows up, and AI is a recent phenomenon, and so there's the ethics of it all, that we haven't really got into yet, and what you should and shouldn't do for
Hmm.
obvious reasons, and what you're capable of doing, which we don't know what the limit is yet because AI is just we're in the early stages of AI. Like it's just, think of it as just being born. AI is just a baby at this point, but
Hmm.
people are making clips for YouTube, and
Short
their stuff looks
films.
incredible
Oh
now.
my
Like
goodness,
before,
dude.
we went from glossy and kind of like plasticky and looks kind of fake, whatever, to like I can't tell. Like you got to look at it twice. And like I'm not sure. That's how close we are and so fast. Like it's blowing people's mind of how quickly each generation of this next AI version comes out. And we're using AI. So the thing is about it, AI is being used for in the army. It's being used in medical technology.
Yep.
It's being used in music. I use
Music.
AI on my laptop right now in music right now.
I use AI every
And
day.
yeah, every day. We use AI in film now, and sky's basically limit as far as what can be turned out. And right now, it's just prompts. But we're gonna get to the point where we don't need all of these prompts to get to exactly what you want. You just say the first line and it works.
Yeah.
Like that's how close we are getting to this thing. And so
Yeah.
like it is frightening and awesome at the same. Very fright. I can't stress how frightening it is. It is very frightening and very awesome at the same time. That's basically how I would start this off.
Yo, before we get into it, which AI do you generally use? Do you use Chat GPT, Gemini, Claude? Which one?
I'm using Chat GPT and a little bit of Gemini, but
Mm,
not too much. And I'm a novice in the AI thing because I don't use it that much.
mm.
But it's kind of like, oh wow, you can do that. Every time I'm like, oh wow, you can do that. Huh, that's interesting.
you know, like, oh
There's a
wow,
lot of like, oh yeah, it's like oh that
for
works,
real.
huh?
If I want
Yeah.
to, if I want to do some like hardcore coding, I'll use
Hmm.
Chat GPT or I actually stopped using Chat GPT. I now use Perplexity, which is Chat GPT, but they do all this other
Yeah.
stuff on top of it that makes it even sexier, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I use it for everything, like writing, proposals, website proposals, creating
Hmm.
like descriptions for our YouTube videos, keywords. I think I told you this that I started creating a
Hmm.
script like with AI, and it's so weird
Yeah.
because I was like, hey, you know what? Give me the humanoid sentient AI version and give me a
Hmm.
cyberpunk version, and dude, it was spot on. It was spot on. So you have this stuff that you're creating in AI. So it's like, okay,
Mhm,
create this now, and you're creating the text and everything else, right? And then there are
mhm,
all these other tools you have to like combine to like make a short film or a movie or something like
mhm.
that. So my first question is, and I'm reading off of my questions here. Is AI the future of Hollywood, or is it just a tool for cutting costs and speeding up production? Before you answer that, you said
Okay.
something about Star Wars and how, like, basically Lucas was like, "Hey, everything is happening in this building, right? He built
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
right?" But what happened
Yes.
once that happened, right? Special
Mhm.
effects like that just blew up in the
It shot
um
up the
the the
stratosphere
the
after
cost
Star
of
Wars.
everything.
The
So,
cost went down, everything went down, 'cause you
mhm,
before, when they were making movies,
mhm,
every studio had to do this thing themselves. They had to build the
right.
car themselves. They had to do
Mhm,
it, and then they gotta shoot it. Whereas they had a whole another office with all these other smart tech people who do that for you. Just say, "I need a car," and it's gonna jump over a bridge, and that's it. You have to worry about this anymore. You just come to the set the next day, things ready to go. Like that, it takes a weight off of the director's mind of like, how can I even do this thing? And it makes you more creative because you're like, well, I could flip a car over and then make it jump over a bridge. Like you things that you couldn't think about before. Because how on earth were you supposed to do it yourself? And the AI thing is that little bridge that right now, like it's just a blank space, a blank canvas, and you have to go put the stuff in there to make it work still.
mhm,
Kind of how like the original special effects is. But the more we use AI, the better it's gonna get, and the more in charge it's gonna be, if I can use the term, over how this thing is gonna look. And I think the less input you're gonna add to it to get to where you want to be, which is the scary part. That's the scary part for me. If
mhm.
AI remains a blank canvas and we have to still input our stuff to make it work, I would be fine with AI, but, like, that's not where AI is gonna end.
No.
AI just by nature can't end there, so I don't know. Who knows what's gonna happen?
The Wall Street Journal just released a video a couple days ago. I can't remember the title,
Mhm.
but it's like we made a film using AI, and they showed
Yeah.
how they created this film, and they also
Mhm.
showed you like the hiccups, the hallucinations. They're like, but
There's a
I
lot of
wasn't
stuff. Yeah,
perfect,
there's a
and it was just
Mhm.
it's some wild the when you're creating this stuff, like when you're creating film and like
Mhm.
things like that, anime or whatever, like and AI. Yo, the hallucinations are wild as anything. I mean, I'm not talking about like
Yes.
text hallucinations.
You
I'm
see
talking
some
about like
insane
video
things.
hallucinations. As wild as
Yeah.
anything. I'm like, yo, it's so wild to me that it's kind of fascinating, because
Mhm. Yeah.
it's just like it's completely fascinating to me, right? Let me ask
It's
you
like
this.
you
Go
you gotta
ahead.
explain what the hallucination is. It's like
Yeah.
if you did a movie and then your head turns and then the
Mhm.
head pops out of your head. That's what
Right.
we're talking about. Like just something
Exactly.
crazy. Like why would
Like
that even be there?
like you have a train of like goo just like fall,
Yeah, yeah,
behind
just
your head or
random
whatnot.
stuff
Yeah.
coming out of your brain or
Yeah.
whatever. That's what we're talking about. Like stuff that so you're sitting down talking about food and then an airplane lands on your head. Like this
Right. Yeah.
insanity stuff like that. It don't make no sense. That's what we're talking about hallucination, right?
you know, an airplane, dude, that is so true. I'm telling you because,
Yeah.
they were showing this one
Mhm.
hallucination where like her face was in halves and it was just like on top of each other. And I was just like, yo, but
You're
there's
like,
this
"What the hell am I seeing?"
but there's this guy on I think he's on Instagram, but I follow him on
Mhm.
Threads. His name is Render Artist, and yo, he does like all
Okay.
this AI stuff. Yo, banana cakes. This guy is crazy, dude.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, right?
Mhm.
So, yo, do you think that? And I think this is we know the answer to this question, but do you think
Yeah.
that there will ever be a blockbuster AI film?
Yeah. It won't be our generation, though.
Mm,
It'll be like our kids' generation. I think it'll take a couple years before because they're right now, people are skeptical of AI, and especially people in the industry, they don't like it, and so you have to get over the negative aspects of it, and when it's more integrated into people's lives, it wouldn't be as big a deal. Because I think by that time, your kids, their robots are gonna be on the street. Like, so it wouldn't be that big a deal. This movie's created by a robot. Like, that's nothing then.
mm,
So I think that our current generation wouldn't accept it. and it'd be derided, and it'll be it'll be a miserable experience. People complain about it. But the generation after that, good luck.
Against,
Good luck going forward, man.
yeah. When these film companies start making, TV series and films using AI, just in the name of transparency, should they say that this was created using AI?
Well, they're doing it now, man.
They are. They
That's the
have to,
thing. They
right?
are they're
Yeah.
100% doing it right now. They're making scripts
Mm.
with AI. They're doing all kinds of stuff for sure. I think though they may have another strike or something like that, but like the problem is that a lot of actors, especially if you've done special effects, the Hollywood has a scan of you already. Like
That's
you've done
it.
a special effects or something in a recent movie, Hollywood has a scan of you. They don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
They got your voice
Yep.
and they have your stable body scan. They
Yep.
technically don't need you
It's
anymore.
over, dude. It
They
is
can do
over,
everything with
man.
you, and they can do everything right now, and it will look perfect because the AI and a special effects thing has bridged the gap that a lot of times you can see AI of somebody, you don't realize it's AI because they messed up a take or whatever. They want to film it again. They're just like, just fix her face, boom, call it a day. You didn't even notice that was an AI person there.
True, exactly. Do
Yeah.
you think that indie film makers, creators will like benefit from AI?
Yes, I think that indie people will start taking advantage of things like they need B-roll or whatever. You can get AI B-roll. You don't need to go pay for it or film it. You can just do it yourself, save you time and effort. So I think that indie people are definitely going to start using that kind of stuff. There's already like there's clips channels like Art List and all this other stuff that you
Hmm.
can just get clips of stuff for you already done.
Yeah.
And so the AI's already in. I think Artlist has AI in there where you can generate your own clips.
Hmm.
So indie people, even indie filmmakers use that stuff already.
Yeah.
So for sure, it's gonna cut costs and make them be able to do this. The only thing that I think that AI can't duplicate is the interaction with humans, just talking, just off the cuff, just being random. You can't really generate that yet, but we're being studied, man. We're every day we're pumping in billions of lines of code and film and movies and sound for the computer to study. So I mean, we're not that far off from this stuff where a robot can mimic sounds and whatever and be just as good. I think the only thing saving us right now is power distribution.
When we were talking about on the Crossfader channel,
Hmm.
about AI in the music industry,
Hmm.
one of the things we said was, let me see here. Wait a minute. Where is it here? Where's
Yeah, we talked about this for a while ago, man.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things we said was, do you think like a robot DJ would ever be like real? And,
Hmm.
and I alluded to the
Yeah.
fact that I don't think so because DJing is about emotions as well, right? You can't a
Hmm.
DJ can't a robot can't do that, right? So that's pretty
Yeah.
interesting. So the question here with movies, right, is like, do you think that? And I think, and I'll answer this question, but do you think that an AI can create like a compelling emotional script?
Not yet, but I think it's around the corner
Hmm.
for sure. Like, you see, here's the thing:
Hmm.
if a person, a screenwriter, does the AI script and then touches it up, all bets are off right there.
Hmm.
Just the basics is an AI script, whatever, and then you get in there and you're like, no, no, you wouldn't say that. You say this. All bets are off.
Yo,
You can't
listen,
you can't I'm saying you can't compete with that.
you
If
can't.
you add the human emotion aspect into this is the basic script, you're gonna walk to the store, you're gonna do this, you're gonna walk past the thing. That AI can handle all that stuff, but like the emotion from the dialogue, I think the humans still need to be there for that. But I wouldn't say that's gonna be like that forever. There's gonna be a time when AIs watch enough indie movies and movies to figure out this makes humans sad. This makes humans happy. Once
Mhm.
they figure that out, game's over. But like at least as it stands right now, I think that you need the human aspect of it to kind of figure out what to make the script mean and the emotional aspect of it. Because I think that AI would just write, man walks down to the store, man picks up milk, man comes back, right? And then the human has to fill in. The man was running away from his wife, and so he left his kid there and what yada. Let's say
Yep.
like that
Hmm.
little extra bit. makes the thing mean more rather than it's the basics of what just happened. So I think that's how it works. That's how it would work.
See, that's interesting because, like I said, I've been putting together a sci-fi script using
Mhm.
AI. And one of the things I do when I'm putting together my website proposals is I use AI and I tell it,
Mhm.
like, create this proposal, and I give it the parameters. And I was like, and one of the other things you should keep in mind, I do not want this proposal to sound, feel, and read like it was created by AI.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
now that prompt, that little piece
Yeah,
of
that's a
text,
game changer prompt.
it's on top of like that specific like chat
Mhm.
tab, so now anytime I put in something, it gives me stuff
Mhm.
that feels emotional, right? This is with perplexity, chat GPT does
Mhm.
the same thing, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
so the script I'm creating, dude, is crazy emotional. I mean, like, dude, they're giving
Mhm.
me like the script is like they not only give me the script, they say, hey, here there's some sound effects you can use. He's walking
Mhm.
away, he
Yeah.
turned around, all that sort of stuff, right? And
Yeah, but
one
what I'm saying is that you had to do the little extra part
No,
that
no,
the
no, 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 no,
robot couldn't think to
no,
do
no,
that.
no, no,
No?
dude.
Okay. That's
No,
how
that's
close
what
we're
I'm saying.
getting.
But I will
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
this, right? I'm reading the script and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I don't like that part right there. And then I'll grab it and I'll say,
Mhm.
this needs to be more emotional, or this needs to like, feel like this. So
Mhm.
you're right. You do have to touch up, brush up around the edges all the
Yeah,
time,
it's a
right?
little touch up. This is
Uh,
too much.
yeah,
Scale it back a little bit or
the
whatever.
previous question
Yeah.
I asked you was like, will it AI, like a blockbuster movie using AI? I kind of think there is one film industry that AI will not, you know, take over. And I think that's like
Mhm.
the Indian film industry because those films are they're
You can't
people,
quantify that, man.
they're in real time,
It's insane,
they're
yeah.
epic. They're like drama
Mhm.
filled. These joints are like 2, 3, 4 hours. These are
Mhm.
not big budget films like in America, but these are blockbuster films in India, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I just can't see how AI could replace that type of filmmaking. I just don't think
I
that can happen yet.
I think well, yeah, it is you
Mhm.
have to add a "yet" to everything. I think
Yeah,
it's a matter of time before they're like, "Oh, yeah, we could do that too."
right.
I everything is basically you got a question, is it 5 years? Is it 2 years? Is it 10 years? I think it's a matter of time at this point. Because like, the thing about AI is that we've gone from tinkering to AI to a full-blown everybody's putting all of their money and resources into AI at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, like, I think that it's a matter of time, not if, when this stuff just kicks in. And then my other question is,
What?
would we have robots
Hmm.
acting as humans doing a role, or would they just digitize them and make just put a person in a blank space and make that a thing?
Hmm.
That's the question I'm at. What would be the thing that humans say, okay, we're okay with this, and what we're not
Right.
okay with?
Okay, you know what, dude? I'm gonna say this, and I'm just gonna put it out there, right? If
Hmm.
AI, and we spoke about this earlier, if AI and it's just gonna get better, like we always say, right? We've been saying, right?
Yeah.
At some point, because I had a question I was gonna ask you as well in the same sort of like sphere, but at some
Hmm.
point, you're not gonna need like the mega superstars. Again, these
Oh yeah,
AIs
no,
are
we're good.
creating. There's
Tom
a
Tom Cruise is the last one. That's
That's
it.
it.
That's
He
the
is the
Tom Cruise.
last
Nobody left.
megastar, right?
He's
Forget
the
about it,
last
right?
one.
And
Yeah.
there's this like space on YouTube Shorts where they just show you like short,
Hmm.
like 1 minute, like anime women, right? For real, right? Jumping around,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, okay, like this is really good, right? And then like
Yeah.
they're like on YouTube, they're like anime, AI channels, like women, just like, and
Mhm.
it's just like, whoa, this is a thing, right? So
Yes.
I think that I don't think that at some point like these actors they're not going to be needed because again AI they're creating compelling characters, excellent skin. I mean all the skin, the skin tones are like flawless, no wrinkles, the whole nine. But hey,
Mhm.
when I
Yeah.
was telling you about that Wall Street Journal like YouTube that they put out, that
Mhm.
video that they put out about how they made an AI short film, one of the parts was like this old doctor, right? And he looked
Mhm.
old as anything, gray hair, the whole nine. And I'm like, AI can do that too. So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think that right away actors will not be needed, which is why, we had this huge
They
like
went on strike.
writers
They went on
strike,
strike for this. Yeah.
because and one of the things they wanted was like, you know what, and we want you to not use AI, which is stupid. It's just like, I mean, that's goofy. It's just like, how
You
can you tell a
can't. You
creator
could
not to
say,
use a creative tool?
yeah, yeah. You also say like you have to specify. Well, you can't replace me with AI. That would have been a
Right.
better argument.
Well, that's
But like,
even like Herb status too. You can't replace me
yeah,
with
no,
AI. So there now, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Come on,
That's the
dude.
thing. You can't
That's what I'm
stop what this
saying.
thing is going to
It's
happen. You
here.
can't stop it. It's coming. It's coming. You got to pick and choose.
I think it'd
So
be, I
yeah.
think it, to answer your question fully, I think it'd be something like a hybrid. I think that there
Hmm.
will be some elements where you see AI characters, right? And
Hmm.
then there will be some elements where you see like human characters, like let's just say in scenes where the human character isn't needed. You can have all these
Hmm.
AI sort of like characters walking around, downtown LA. You can create that in AI with like cars and bustling the whole nine, right? So I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
right now, what companies are doing is they're using AI to basically perfect what they're doing, right? And some
Hmm.
of these
Yeah.
directors who are creating AI production studios, they're like creating like short films and like TV series and like films and everything else using AI
Hmm.
exclusively, right? So
Yeah.
I think they should not. They should be worried because it's coming. They're not going to
Yeah.
get
No,
as
it's
much.
coming. Yeah.
They're not going to get as much.
Yeah.
You have to be at this point now. It's like it's going to be super competitive. You have to be on
Hmm.
top of your. You have to be Denzel Washington. Anne Hathaway.
Hmm.
Just people like that. Helen Mirren. You got to be on top of your game.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
some of the production companies like a HBO Max, who creates awesome programming,
Hmm.
Apple TV, awesome programming,
Hmm.
Netflix. I think there's still, it's almost like when we talk about DJing, it's just like DJs, we still want to touch things. We love the technology we have. We listen. I love the
Yeah.
sync. I love the sync button. I love like
I
effects,
use
all
all
that
that
stuff.
stuff, man.
You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
don't
For
care. I use
real.
all of that.
So
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
why? Why not use it? I mean, it's here for us, right? It's making our jobs
Hmm.
easier and it's making us more creative. I think that's what AI is doing. AI is like pushing the
Hmm.
boundaries. Computers, what they did. Look at where we are now with computers. We have these fast chips, the whole nine. The industry evolved over time and got better.
Hmm.
What I
Yeah.
think here with AI, again, I think it's going to be a hybrid thing. You are going to see some AI elements, a lot more AI elements in films, but I also
Hmm.
think you'll still, have the humanoid there, just for like, giggles. You know
Well,
what I'm
I
saying?
think I think, like, it's gonna be more of a touch-up stuff, at least for the beginning,
Yeah.
and then shortly after that, there's gonna be an AI actor, actress, and all bets are off after that. 'Cause they've made movies about this topic. None of them did well, but, like, they've done it already, and it's a touchy subject, especially for Hollywood because, this their livelihood is these are people who want to be famous and want people to yell, scream at them across the street and sign autographs. And them being replaced by computers, bad news bears for everybody, right? You know what The industry is built around people with massive egos and then replace them with a computer chip is wild, right? It's very wild. So Hollywood would struggle, and actors and actresses would struggle, but I think eventually we're gonna get to the point where you're gonna just use a computer version of whatever, and that's the end of that. And I think it's gonna happen because an actor hurt their leg and they can't finish the movie, so they got to use something for them. Something
Mhm.
crazy like that,
Yep, I'm
and
telling
then
you,
it's gonna be
it's
fine
here.
going forward. It's like this is what
Yeah.
we're doing.
Yeah.
It's
It's
gonna be
like, oh,
something crazy like that.
you
That's
don't have
gonna
to come in. We got
Yeah,
your
yeah. Just
vocals. We
read
got
these
your vocals.
lines, and we'll test this
Exactly.
up or whatever.
We
That's
got
what's
your
gonna
vocals and
happen.
whatnot. Yo,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I yeah, man, I think the actors, everyone from like, just everyone, the whole crew, I think they
yeah.
should be worried. But I also think that, in situations like this, if you're like a grinder, you're like, yo, I
Mhm,
gotta up my game, right?
mhm,
If you grind, you're like, yo, you know what? This creative stuff is here. I'm a creator. I'm in the creative industry. I got to up my game
Mhm.
up. Like old boy said from NVIDIA, it's
Yeah.
those who know how to use AI that will replace people, not AI. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
AI is not just going to come into AI is not going to walk into a corporate office and say 80 people you're fired. They are
Yeah.
using it, and AI is being used in really weird ways. And it's I
Mhm.
think in a lot of those
Ooh,
sort of situations it's not going to work. But I
yeah.
think I think when it comes to defense, I'm totally fine with AI in defense because it's
Mhm.
like, I mean, it's just going to make things, it's
Make
going to automate
data,
things.
man.
Yeah, it's going to make them
You're
better.
utilizing
Right.
data.
Totally. I'm
Yeah.
totally fine with
As
that
long
for
as
real.
long as the AI is not pressing buttons, I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
Totally
Like, whatever
fine
they
with
use the
that.
AI for, as long as you're not pressing buttons, we're good. Once the AI starts pressing buttons, then I'm a little nervous about that. But,
I'm
like,
I'm
you know
fine
what
with
I'm saying? You're reading the map and you got troop movement
right.
and all this other stuff. You got
Exactly.
suggestions. Give me suggestions.
I
Don't
like
press any
it.
buttons.
I like it in the military sense where, what they're trying to do, and I'm quite sure they've already like successfully had
Oh,
some
they've been
tests.
using this thing for a
They're
long time.
trying to have like remember we were watching remember when we were watching Picard and like old girl was like, and this new
Mhm.
technology, synchronistic, whatever, where
Yeah,
all the
yeah, yeah. They
planes
get
were like
together in
all the
lines. Yeah.
starships would like speaking to each other. That's what they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
trying to do. That's what they've been trying to do with drones, military
Mhm.
drones, and the military is like, how can we have a
Yeah.
thousand drones like in the sky and they're
Which
all synced
they
up?
can do that now. They
Yeah,
can
they can
this
do
the
that now.
thing. They do
Dude,
they use AI
I
to do
love
for the
that
drones to
for
go
real.
do, yeah, the
Yeah.
fireworks in the sky and stuff like that. They
Yeah,
so it's a
it's just like
thing.
it's here. Why
Yeah.
can't you use it to defend your country? Come on, that's like
Yeah,
ridiculous that
yeah.
you can't use it to defend your country. I'm all
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
that. Yo,
yeah.
in the script I created that I've been creating,
Mhm.
one of the things I told, one of the things in my original prompt was both AI. You had a rogue AI and sort of like a
Mhm.
good AI, right? And
Okay.
they hacked their system to become sentient and humanoid, right? And
Mhm.
but that's okay because it was almost like it was a protocol that you could actually crack into, you could hack into, right? And that's okay,
Okay.
right? But
Mhm.
even though they're doing all this crazy stuff, wild stuff, the whole like hacking each other, the whole nine, they have a code, they have ethics.
Mhm.
They can't do certain things because they're AI. Like for instance, they
Yeah.
can't blow up a church. You know what I'm saying? They
Mhm.
can't
Yeah,
blow up a
yeah.
plane filled with people. It's just
Mhm.
AI against AI, and they cannot do things that will hurt. Like
Mhm.
society. It's an interesting script, man. And on the
Mhm.
cyberpunk
Yeah, yeah.
side, it's even like crazy. I have two female characters. In the same vein as like the major from like Ghost in the Shell. Is
Yeah, yeah.
sick, man. I think that
Mhm.
when this whole actor strike came on, I was just like, and when AI came
Yeah.
up, I was like,
It's
ooh,
not
AI. I was like,
Yeah, give this a shot, see what I can do.
yeah, well, I thought like when they talked about AI, I was like, ooh, AI, they know something we don't know,
Mhm.
right?
It's further along than we think, I'll
Yeah,
say that.
yeah,
It's way further along than we think.
yeah. So let me ask you this here, and we'll wrap it up. So
Mhm.
AI fully integrated into Hollywood. How long?
Mhm. I give it a year. That's
Oh,
how close I think it
for
is. Yeah, I give it a
you
year
said
at
it,
best.
dude, a year? I mean, that's
Yeah,
like,
you know why?
6 months
The reason
later.
why
Mhm.
this is very simple. The reason why is because of the money they're spending right now. They have to cut costs and bring up the production value. And because of that, they're going to turn to things they didn't think possible and do things they would have never agreed to before. So, like, I think because of that, especially because Hollywood's down bad right now.
It's bad.
All of the blockbusters they put out right now, they're all lost money. Everything's lost money except Lilo and Stitch. I think is the only movie that made money this year. Like, that's bad. That's very
For
bad.
real.
You'd be very alarmed about these kind of numbers,
Mhm.
especially like the superhero thing. It's been a disaster. So that's the reason why I think that either they're gonna go back on their word or they're just gonna say, "F it, this is what we doing now. You guys got to play along or not get the next movie." And so they're gonna go along with it whether they like it or not. I think it's gonna be within a year.
Okay, so I'm gonna say I think it's a little further along. I'm gonna say like maybe 5 years. I'm gonna say 5 to 7 years
Okay.
when AI is fully integrated into Hollywood. And then what's going to
Mhm.
happen is those who still want to do like, all the films that are being done by like, methods like digital cameras and things like that, all those
Yeah.
films may be called art house films because, it's just like, hey, they're using equipment and they're doing analog stuff, even though it's
Yeah.
digital, right? And those films are going
Yeah.
to be like very special, very specific. They're going to cost a lot of money to see, you know, so
Yeah.
I think, but I do think when it does happen, it's going to happen again in a hybrid sort of way. You can't totally get rid of like the industry because there's a lot of like knowledge there. You can't just throw
Mhm.
away all this knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think
Mhm.
it's going to totally, you know. I think like sometimes when I'm watching like some high end sci fi stuff, and, people
Mhm.
are like, watching a TV program, and the
Mhm.
program is clearly an AI, right? And it's just like, oh, okay, this is what we may
Yeah,
be
well,
doing. But the thing about it is, how many
yeah.
people are going to sit down and like watch an AI film, not unless it's
Mhm.
done really well? You know what?
Yeah.
A lot of parts of Rebel Moon I thought were done in AI. What do you think about that?
No, I know the people that behind the Rebel Moon, the special effects things. Those guys are just that good, man.
Okay.
Those guys are really good. Yeah, I would say that.
Mhm.
But I do think that basically soon, very soon, we're gonna see more AI stuff blatantly on the film and stuff. And then I think the other thing that's gonna speed this up is the demise of movie theaters. Because right now, nobody's
Oh
going.
yeah.
They
Hmm.
need to figure out a way to get people to go
Yeah.
or just close it down completely. Because we like back in the day, like it was the 60s, 70s, they had the drive-in theaters. I think it's the 60s. They had drive-in theaters. Now that's the only way you watch movies, drive-in theater.
Yep.
And then malls show up, and we're going to the movie theater in the mall.
Hmm.
So I mean, like that thing changed of how we view it, and I think that how we view stuff is the most important aspect of this thing. Because if we only watch movies at home, all bets are off. Like they're just gonna say F it. They need the movie theaters to keep the actors there, or to justify the actors and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if the actors can't bring people to the movie theaters, you don't need the actors anymore. You just
Right.
get any old person to do it, and that's it. I think movie theaters are the linchpin to this entire thing. That's why I say a year or less.
Mhm. I think it's so weird because like drive-ins are sort of coming back in certain parts of the country. They're kind of cool. It's
Mm,
just like, oh, we went to a drive-in. The nostalgia of it, right? Um,
yeah.
I like the statement you made about like you know, actors and actresses, right?
Mm,
They're not just there's a machine behind that. It's not just hey, I'm a play in. It's not like Tom Cruise playing in like the final Mission Impossible. It's all the social.
yeah.
It's all this other stuff. It's him being.
Mhm.
It's people being able. Him being able to sign autographs. All that stuff is like real.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm
That's
saying?
part of the thing that makes people like
And
movies.
yeah, exactly. I remember like when Planet Hollywood came out when they first came along, and to
Mhm.
see Arnold, Sly, and who's the other guy? The other like action guy.
Um,
Y-
Tom, no, no, he did,
He did
oh,
Cosmic
damn it.
Sin. He did Cosmic
Yeah,
Sin.
yeah. Oh, dude, I'm blanking on
I'm
I feel
blanking,
so
dude.
terrible.
But those
I'm blanking on his
guys,
name.
it's
Yeah,
Bruce
yeah.
Willis. Bruce
Bruce
Willis.
Willis,
So
yes.
Bruce
I feel
Willis,
awful right
Arnold
now. I feel bad.
Schwarzenegger, and Sly. These three
Yeah.
guys were action stars, right? when
Mhm.
when they would open up different like locations of Planet Hollywood, they'd be walking down the
Mhm.
street and dude, it was the
People
fandom. You know what I'm
screaming.
saying? It's like
Yeah.
you're not gonna
Like,
get that with like an AI, like marketing sort of like thing going on for a promotional movie or whatever, right? It's just like no, people want to like touch people in real time, dude. It's just like
yeah.
hey, you're like
But
walking the
that's
red carpet,
that's
the whole
our
nine.
generation, though.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's our parents' generation.
Right.
This next generation, they're looking
Oh,
at their
they're
cell
online
phone, man.
totally.
Like,
They're on. Yeah, they're
it's a
online.
thing. It's a different thing. That's what I say. Like in a couple years, that next generation, what's interesting to them and what they want to watch is who knows what.
Yeah.
I can't say for certain. Things that we look down or tip our nose down to, that's the stuff they're gonna be like, oh, this is amazing. This is art right now. Like, so who knows?
Yeah.
I can't say for certain, but our generation, we're done. We're out of it.
We're done,
What they
dude.
want, what the future wants is who knows what, but it won't be good. I'll say that. I can promise you it's gonna be terrible.
So, you guys have been checking out an episode of Behind the News, and we're going to be doing this a lot more often. Today, we were talking about AI in Hollywood, and
Mhm.
Hollywood, you guys gotta,
Good
you,
luck.
you guys gotta look out, because something is coming. The storm is coming.
Is the storm and winter's here, my friend. Winter's here.
Exactly. Well, there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.